What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tuck Rule Takes. This is episode 55. This is take two for us. That is Liam McDade. I am Mike Sullivan. We had a little bit of a screw up when we first did it, but guess what? We are back. We overcome obstacles just
Damn
like
right
this
we
team
do.
does. Like I said, episode
Great
55.
transition.
Liam, one number. There's a bunch of number 55s for the Patriots.
Too many.
I'm going to start off just kind of, I feel like maybe the most obvious one. Willie McGinnis, number 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a tough decision here. I'm going to keep it at a positive note. Actually, both of these guys did something pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Brandon Spikes, one of the meanest motherfuckers to ever don a Patriots uniform. It was between him and the guy you're probably saying next. Brandon Spikes did drunk drive and kill somebody, I'm pretty sure, and then escaped into the woods. So he's not the swellest human being, but goddamn, that motherfucker could lay the lumber on the turf.
He was a run stuffer if there ever was one.
I think he only had one interception that I can remember. He was just always making tackles, never made plays on the ball.
Yeah, he didn't even want to get the ball. I think he just wanted to hit people. He just wanted to hurt people, clearly.
Yeah, that was never went for the interception, which I respect.
No, it was always him and Mayo. They were kind of next to each other. But I was next one, Junior Seau, number 55.
Yeah. It was between the dude who drunk drove and the dude who killed himself. But
a little kind of bad. That Junior Seau, you're always pissing me off because I feel like we should have won it that year. That was what the whole team wanted to do.
He's one of the guys that you look back on, you're like, damn, he really deserved a championship.
He should have won.
Such a stud for us. It's a shame he never got it. So I'm going to follow up with a fourth here. Obviously Josh Uche is on the team right now, so he gets the honorable mention for being not nearly as good as any of those other three, but he's on the team now. So we'll give him the shout out. Does the name Derek Burgess mean anything to you?
Oh god, I forgot he was even on the team.
Damn right. You know what team he was also on?
What? Let everybody know.
The 2004 Eagles Super Bowl championship team. Derek Burgess, huge part being a phenomenal pass rusher for them. Just wanted to throw it out there. Guy's a stud.
Yeah, he was lost to the Patriots in that Super Bowl, but that's fine. Almost everybody does.
But by 3 points, it was a close game.
Still a loss.
Yeah. And shout out for most hated, Cassius Marsh, number 55.
I was just gonna look him up to see if he was. He is one of the worst Patriots play. Every
between
chance
him and
gets,
Cyrus Jones are two people that I was just why are you on the field?
Just go away. And he left. Cassius Marsh had this fucking story about how they wouldn't let him eat, sit down and enjoy his lunch or something because everybody was going to meetings or some shit like that.
I saw that. Suck a dick.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry. You can go eat your cheeseburger when you're playing on the Texans or some shit, which I think he did go to the Texans, if I remember.
I thought he went to the Seahawks. Or maybe he came from the Seahawks.
He bounced around a bunch of. Oh no, I think he did go to the Seahawks after because I remember that jersey with those stupid tattoos on his arm. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember how
he's awful.
Yeah. But I can guarantee you what we did not hate. The Patriots finally gave us something good to talk about. I mean, which really it's only been 1 week, but that last week, I feel like we all were in just a funk after that game.
Oh yeah.
But the Patriots came out, took care of business on the road against a 5-2 Jets team, 22-17. Looked a little sticky there at the end, but I think it was all just like the fake. The team's going to score at the end, try to get the onside kick, not going to get it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I have some thoughts about this game. Liam, I texted you. I want to say maybe halfway through the second quarter, and I said, maybe we just suck.
You were ready to throw it in.
I was already just stressed out coming into the game because I was like, listen, the Jets, they do have a good defense, or they at the very least they have a good D line. They got Sauce Gardner in the back in the DB, so he is good as well. But I was like, this might not be as easy a game as I thought, but I didn't think that it would look this shitty at first. I was frustrated, but I can admit that everything I said was out of frustration. I'm still on the Patriots bandwagon. Obviously, I didn't leave, never went anywhere. Overall, I think
7-game win streak starts now.
7-game win streak starts now. We got a whole new one. Overall, I feel good about it. I don't care who the team is. If it's a division game, division wins are important. They're tough. They're hard to come by, especially on the road when the Patriots were facing as much adversity as they had in-house with Zappe and Mac Jones. Before we kind of dive into particulars here, what were your overall thoughts about this game? Just any jumping off point.
I knew this was going to be a victory. I guaranteed it. I put $100 on it. We talked about if they lost this game, it was season ending. It was.
Oh yeah.
Had to win.
Yep.
It looked ugly. I was nervous, much like you, but I knew in the end we would win.
Yeah, and I believe it was one of those things. What I wanted to ask you about, because I remember when you said that you couldn't, when we were on the podcast, that the Patriots didn't deserve you to say that they would win on the podcast.
Yes.
You still thought they were going to win. But
yes.
You said that you wanted it to be a trouncing, a 40, 50-point win.
Yes.
You wanted to be that.
I did say that.
Seeing how the game ended, because obviously it wasn't. It was a one-score game when it all was said and done. Does that change anything for you? Did you still think that it was, it's still as good of a win as it was? Or do you take anything away from the win at
all? So call me a biased Patriots fan, if you may. You can deem that label upon me. Yep, perhaps. When they were up 12 points, what was it? 22-10 when they were up basically for the whole second half. Or the end of the third and the whole fourth.
Pretty much.
It felt like an insurmountable lead to me. It's a 2-touchdown game. And I remember looking at the clock 8 minutes in the fourth and going, the Jets could totally score 2 touchdowns and win this game, but they won't. And I just knew basically they couldn't. Like I said, they could in an alternate universe, they could, but not in this universe. They're not going to do it. This was the largest 12-point gap I've ever felt in my life. I was so comfortable. And as the fourth quarter went on, I got more comfortable. McCourty gets a pick. McCourty gets a second pick. And I knew,
good for him.
Literally when he got that pick, I'm like, Mike's wet right now. Mike must just be absolutely bouncing around the house, flipping out.
Pumped. I love McCourty. I mean, the most interceptions by any active player right now, which is a crazy stat. I saw that and I was like, It makes sense, but it also doesn't. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because he's hung around, but I bet if you asked any fan base that's not New England, who has that record, Devin McCourty would be the 100th person on their list.
Yeah, no, he's not popping up in that conversation.
Yeah, no. But it just felt like even though they scored toward the end, basically in the last couple of minutes and made it a 5-point game, there was no chance that the Jets had in my eyes. And this was truly a coaching game. Bill Belichick was just going to outcoach the Jets. Doesn't matter how the players are playing. Mac Jones almost threw a pick 6 and we got lucky there. But in my heart of hearts, I just believed we're going to outcoach this team. The Jets are going to be the Jets. Bill Belichick's 5-0 since 2020 against this team for a reason. We're going to win this game. And that's exactly what happened. Even when they scored that last second touchdown, kicked the onside kick, wasn't worried. It's a 4% chance of them getting an onside kick. And even if they recovered it, I'd be like, well, then Zach Wilson throws another interception.
No timeouts. I mean, what are they going to do? Come on.
Exactly. So I wasn't worried, but I truly remember looking at the clock with 8 minutes left and going, this 12-point lead feels like a 20-point lead, like a 30-point lead. They just can't come back from this. And I was right. It wasn't the trouncing. I would have loved to see an ass kicking. In a perfect world, Mac comes out here and throws 4 touchdown passes and 3 incompletions, and the whole offense looks fantastic and the defense dominates the whole way through. But life isn't perfect, as we saw last Monday. As long as we got the win, the season continues.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do you one better. When it was, I think it was 16-10. Even at that point, I was like, I don't. This is even less than a 1-score game, and I was like, I don't see the Jets coming back. I mean, Zach Wilson, for all his nonsense he had in this game, still threw for 355, 20 of 41, which is horrible. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. I mean, that to me is the definition of your fantasy quarterback game, where it's it's not a good game. He I don't know what his fantasy numbers were. I'm sure they were decent, pretty good. He had over 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. But if you watched him play,
he looked terrible.
I picked Belichick to be my game breaker for this game for a reason.
Did?
He needed to come out and steady the ship, kind of make sure everybody's fine, relax, do the whole relax. He was going to coach circles around this team, and he did. The defense was doing all over the place, causing nightmares. Even when they weren't, because I think the first sack came, I think, in like the third quarter, I believe, or maybe even the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yes.
But or I think even technically it was the first like QB hit. But they were all over Wilson. Judon was a menace. Again, I will continue to say Judon will, by the end of this year, he'll be a top 3 Patriots signing of all time. He is a monster. I think I wrote it down. Judon is defensive player of the year.
He's the best pass rusher in the league. I truly
think he has the most QB pressures at 39, I think, and the most sacks with 8.5 right now.
Yeah.
So if he keeps going at this pace, he's going to lead the league in both of those. And then just on the field, he has the personality too. They always want the people they give the accolades to have some sort of person. Exactly. That's Judon. So I could see him winning the defensive player of the year.
I was having this debate with my buddy who's a Bears fan. And I was like, Judon's the best pass rusher in the league. He was like, no, like there's so much better, like Chandler Jones. I'm like, dude, Chandler Jones, look at his numbers. He's not doing much. And I was right. And I forget who else he said. He tried Khalil Mack's a shell of himself. Oh, he said Micah Parsons. And I was like, Micah Parsons he's a farce, is what he is. In the first game of each season, Micah Parsons will dominate. He'll give you 2 sacks, a fumble recovery. Even this past game that was this week,
a fumble, everything. Yeah,
he'll do crazy. And then for the rest of the season, it'll be mids. It'll be like, that was pretty good. In this past season, he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. It was complete ridiculous. The fact that he was able to take it back for a touchdown was just spoke how bad the Bears are. But he's just not that impactful as everyone says. It's all hype. People want him to be the next Lawrence Taylor, so they're like, he's sick, he's unbelievable, he's the best pass rusher. No, he's not. He's really like, you're caught up in the big name because he was he was good last year. But Matthew Judon is the sleeper, the guy that no one pays attention to that is much better. He's like I don't know who's a quarter like Drew Brees, who just like never really got the credit, but he was always one of the best in the league.
That's a good one. That's a good comparison. The only people I would even put ahead of Judon, which I mean, I don't think even Patriots fans, I don't even think you can make the argument that he's better than these two. Myles Garrett, I put above him. Myles Garrett is a terror. And then TJ Watt. People forget about him, but he hasn't been healthy. That's why he's been out for 4 weeks now.
Yeah, he's finally back.
TJ Watt is a beast. So those two I would put up there. Judon, I put him third behind them. Yeah. Whether you want to go linebackers or defensive linemen.
If we're going linebacker, I'd say he's the best linebacker. Like pass rushing linebacker. The best pass rusher would probably be Myles Garrett.
Yeah, pass rusher, just pure. If you're talking best defensive pass rusher, linebackers and D-line involved, the whole lot of them. I got to put Judon number 3 there behind Garrett and TJ Watt. So I think he is putting together. He will at the very least be in the conversation for defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
depends on how he got. I wanted him to get a sack so bad,
God.
He was so close on Sunday. He almost got him in for a safety at one point. Kind of, he cleaned it up at the end. But so speaking of quarterbacks, let's start where we always start. Mac Jones, 24-35, 194, a touchdown and a pick. I believe I said on the podcast, I know I said it to you. I said Mac Jones cannot throw a pick in this game. It's just one of those games where he's got to take care of the ball. It can't be, because even if, even if it wasn't his fault, or like, even if like, say something happened, like he's got to try not to. This one was tipped as he was throwing it. Nothing like
that's always our caveat. Like if it's tipped, if the receiver drops it and it gets picked, like Bailey Zappi's interception with Nelson Aguilar going off his hands, we didn't fault Zappi for that. We're not going to fault Mac for that.
Exactly. So there was that one. There was one later in the game. There were 2 later in the game. One that was picked, one that should have been. I'll start with the latter, the one that should have been picked later in the game. It tipped off one of the O linemen's helmets. So that was another one. It looked like it was kind of an off throw, was not, tipped off a helmet. Then, of course, there was the pick 6 that wasn't. That at first glance, you look at that and you think, what in the fuck were you throwing to? But I guess after the game, Jacoby Myers, Mac Jones said that it was just a misread. Myers went inside. Jones expected him to go outside. You still would hope that you don't throw that ball, but you see so many quarterbacks do that. They just assume that the receiver's going to read.
That's what Aaron Rodgers did when he threw the pick six to Jack Jones. No one was near Jack Jones.
Yeah, but he just thought that that's what it was going to be. So I can't even, and that one ended up getting taken back by a roughing the passer penalty anyway. So
thank God.
And then, Pats went down, kicked a field goal, scored after the half. So it was all good. But Mac Jones, good game, not a perfect game.
Yeah.
He's still, I think the second half, he looked miles better than he did in the first.
Yes, he looked way more comfortable.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm breaking any new ground saying that, but I think that it's the thing where he's just getting back into the flow of it. That's really all it is. So next week's going to be good. See what happens with the Colts. Colts I don't know where the Colts are at in defense. I'll look at it before we're done on here when we talk.
Yeah, they're pretty good
at the end. So I know their offense sucks. So next week should be a good one too for Mac. This is what you got to do. You got to start piling on these games where you look good, you clean up the mistakes, which other than the stupid tipped plays or the miscommunication, he really didn't have any crazy mistakes. One thing he was doing that you and I spoke about this last year, and I think at the beginning of the year too, Mac Jones taking off and running, if that becomes something that defenses have to pay attention to, that's going to do nothing but help this offense.
Yeah.
Like seeing him just immediately, like decision making very quick. He sees nothing's there, takes off and runs.
Because imagine if Tom Brady had that speed. Because like the goal is to force Tom Brady out of the pocket and make him uncomfortable. And he gets rid of the ball in seconds. So all of a sudden, like Mac has the ability to do what Tom Brady does. But also when no one's open on the first read, instead of, Tom Brady sits back there and looks and eventually finds a guy, and it could lead to a big play or it couldn't. Mac will take the safe. He'll take the safe 7 yards, the safe 10 yards. He'll run, get you easy first downs when the defense isn't expecting it. If they have to account and put a spy back there, then Mac can just pick them apart in the short range game because they have one guy out of defensive coverage. And that's just one of the things that like, Aaron Rodgers should do it a lot more, and he doesn't. Like Josh Allen does it plenty, and that's why he has a lot of success. Like you got Lamar Jackson, whose game is basically focused around that, but it's just one of those dual threat things where he's not a scrambling quarterback, but he's more than willing to run for first downs, and that just makes his pocket passing all the more deadly.
Yeah, exactly. He's not like someone like no one's going to think of Mac Jones and say, oh, you got to watch out for his legs. But it's like, he's one of those guys that can, if things break down, he can run and actually, it doesn't look painful like when Tom Brady used to run. And it's like, holy shit, just get down or what the fuck is going on? Like it looks like the slowest person in the world. So speaking of Mac Jones, though, I will say I thought that this unit, the offensive line, was trending in the right direction. They have regressed the last couple of weeks. And it's frustrating because normally this is when the offensive line starts to come together. This is when the whole offense comes together. But it seems like with the stupid penalties, just the not blocking, Cole Strange has had a kind of a shitty last couple games.
Yeah, he's had a cold stretch.
I mean, I know David Andrews was out because of that bullshit hit last week, but which we didn't even talk about. But that was just got cleaned out,
destroyed,
cleaned out. So I'm assuming he's going to be back because nothing was broken, nothing like that. I think he should be back. But so I know that he was out. So I know that we had James Ferentz under center. Or at center, he wasn't doing that well, and that of course then puts more pressure on Cole Strange. Then you got Trent Brown with penalties and Isaiah Wynn. I don't think Isaiah Wynn had any penalties this game, but he wasn't great. Just the whole lot of them. This might have been their worst game this year.
With your center gone, I completely expect it. Like he is the, no pun intended, the center of the offensive line. He's there calling out the calls, saying who's the mic and identifying the defensive line shifts and whatnot. I expected it. It's it sucks. It's unfortunate that Mac comes back after basically a 4-game absence, and he comes back to a offensive line that's not in shambles, but it's far from together.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to give them somewhat of a pass because Andrews was out, and the Jets do have a really good defensive line. So, like, it is what it is. So we'll see kind of what happens next week when hopefully the whole unit's together again. They can kind of start to move forward. I don't expect them all to have bad games like that again. No. Like I said, assuming Andrews is back, but it was definitely something that I saw. I wrote down in my little notes. I wrote O-line getting manhandled, regressing, not something that you want right now, which it definitely isn't, especially when you have a quarterback coming back from a high ankle sprain. Definitely not what you want as you're coming out of the easy part of your schedule, going into kind of the make or break gauntlet that you're about to run. With a lot of teams that don't. We'll talk about this at the end when we're talking about the Colts, but a lot of the teams in the games that I thought that were going to be tough for the Patriots might not be. There's really only a couple, and 2 of those are the Bills. Like there's really not that many tough games as we thought coming up. But again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, the O-line definitely a little alarming. But like I said, hopefully they kind of get it all together. I do want to give you your props, and I hate to do it because I like the player that I'm going to say just lost his job. Ramondre Stevenson cannot be the second back anymore.
No,
he has to be the number 1 back. He had in rushing the ball. I mean, okay, 16 for 71. That's awesome. That's great. Receiving. Do you know who led the Patriots in receiving?
Probably the same as the last 3 weeks for Ramondre Stevenson.
7 for 72. So we had 7 catches for 72, 16 carries for 71. He
143 total yards.
We talked about it before the season when James White retired, where it was like, who's going to step up? And I think we both said, or one of us did, I forget, but it was that Stevenson was practicing, receiving the ball more, catching it more, running routes, all that stuff. I think it fucking worked because
I think so.
This guy, he was making one-handed catches on the run, stopping on a dime, spinning, planting his hand in the ground and running for another 10 yards. And then when he runs, he can still run right through you.
Yeah.
Stevenson, I mean, my God, it sucks that in a couple of years, we're going to be talking about him like we're talking about Damian Harris right now. But but for the time being,
and that's how it goes.
Stevenson's the guy, and I still love Harris. I still think Harris is very good because when he's in the game, he runs with that aggressive Adrian Peterson type of run.
Yeah, he wants to hurt
still
you.
Like him, still very much like him. I think the Patriots have a great backfield right now. But Liam, I do want to just give you your props. You had it. Ramondre Stevenson.
Smell those flowers.
He should be the starter. Damian Harris is not getting traded. The trade deadline is over as we record. Harris is still on the team. Everyone is still on the team. But Liam, applaud to you.
He's gone. But
round of applause. Good for you. I'm assuming. Do you want to talk about Stevenson at all in his amazing game?
I would love to.
Okay.
So not off production, because obviously he could be like Nick Chubb, or he could be like Derrick Henry, where he's putting up crazy numbers and touchdowns each week. But if you were to build a running back in a lab, Ramondre Stevenson is the perfect running back. He's got the downhill running of Adrian Peterson, where he just bruises and brashes, but Adrian Peterson couldn't catch the ball. Ramondre can catch the ball. I thought his catching was a product of Bailey Zappi being the quarterback and him checking the ball down more. So it not being an advanced offense, he caught 5+ passes in the last 3 games. And I'm like, that's just because Zappi can't push the ball downfield. Mac comes back. He looks a little hobbled. So I'd like to see how it looks next week when Mac's more comfortable. But once again, 7 for 70. He's just one of those guys that can do it all. He is the perfect running back. And I think the Patriots have someone better than Damian Harris for the next couple of years. Damian Harris was great, phenomenal, 17 touchdowns last year. What more could you ask for? Ramondre Stevenson has far more upside than Damian Harris has showed in the last couple of years, and it's still so early. Do I expect him to get 17 touchdowns? Maybe, but probably not. But I just think his ceiling, his potential, and how he could be used in this Patriots offense is head and shoulders above. The screen passes, the wheels, you can get him downfield. You can get him on those little out routes that Brian Westbrook used to make a living off of, where you kind of go out and then across the middle, and he caught one against the Jets. He's just a fantastic fucking player who puts in maximum effort. And each week, I have this terrible thought in my head, like, God, like, please don't get hurt. He just smashes into these people and has these terrible hits where the defenders are like, please don't fucking hit me. And they try their hardest to level him. And every time he goes down, I'm like, God, please don't get hurt. But he's shown no signs of weakness. Like, he looks like The Rock in Black Adam. Like, bullets don't affect him. Crush him with a steel girder, he's perfectly fine. A bus could hit this man, and the bus would be in severe pain. I just am so happy that Bill did it again. We have another running back. It's an abundance of riches that we keep getting in here, and the Patriots continue to be fortunate in the running game, and this guy is the next era of Patriots running backs. He's a stud. He's ballsy.
Yes, he's 10th in the league right now in yards. So I was
he was a backup for the first 4 games.
He was a backup. He's 11th in yards per game, I believe. That's what it looks like here. So he's working his way up there. Yeah, I love him. And the best part is, though, even if you do need to sit him for a spell or something like that, you do still have Damian Harris, who's still a bruiser, who you can still plug in there, who would still be starting on.
He can take every carry in a game.
He would be a starter on 90% on 28 different NFL teams right now.
Yes, easily.
But I mean, he would be a starter in Dallas probably, with Zeke doing his thing and Pollard showing well, but Damian Harris would be there. I mean, yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, I had to give him his flowers. I had to give you your props there. You hit the nail on the head. Ramondre Stevenson, huge part of this team going forward, as well as the second leading receiver in the game, the man that I think you should give him all the money in the world, every last bit of whatever dollar you have, Jacoby Myers. I don't think that he has firmly entrenched himself, in my eyes, in the Wes Welker, Julian Edelman lane of people right now. Jacoby Myers is the next guy. He is the guy right now. It is.
He has bought a palatial estate in slot wide receiver realty.
Yeah, he is the guy. Because like I said, you've had your Wes Welker. I mean, actually, if you want to start, you had your Troy Brown, your Wes Welker, your Julian Edelman. Now you have Jacoby Myers. So, and the connection that he has with Matt, of course, they had that little miscommunication. It happened with Brady and Edelman, happens with Rodgers and Devontae Adams when he was there. So it happens with everyone. But
that's what happens when you run half of his routes, if not more, are choice routes. So it's like you run the route, and halfway through your route, whatever the defense is doing, you adjust accordingly. You have 3 possible routes that you can run based off this defensive coverage, and the quarterback and the Jacoby Myers have to be on the same page and go, all right, that's cover 2. Jacoby's going to break inside. And, that leaves a wide margin for error. But the vast majority of the time, it works out. And I will take the occasional errors, like the potential pick 6 that they threw, because we saw it work out time and time again in the clutchest situations with Welker, with Edelman. And now he's gotten over his touchdown threshold. He's got 2 on the year, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. Look, he had 1 yesterday, so I believe he's got 2 or 3. Right?
1 against the Lions.
Yeah, he's killing it.
He's back. He's there. He's the guy.
Yeah. There is, between him and, if you can have him and Tyquan Thornton pan out, you have a nice young nucleus of receivers to build around for a little bit. Tyquan Thornton, I don't think he had 1 catch for 13 yards. I mean, of course, when you have someone with the speed of Thornton on the team, it's like you want to see him used more, but it's like you get that he isn't. I mean,
it's going to be hit or miss, though. Like, you're not going to connect on a deep ball in every game. He's not Randy Moss. He's not Deshaun Jackson, but like, he'll get damn close. If he's not catching a 50-yarder, then you're going to have games like this where he gets 1 for 13. But then you're going to have a game where he, has 112 yards off 3 catches, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially tough when Mac Jones is under pressure the whole game. I mean, he was running for his life most of the time. I mean, like you said, you feel bad that he comes back to an offensive line that can't block for him, but yeah, I mean, you can't expect these deep balls to come when Mac's under pressure so much. So, good game. The thing you and I kind of touched on before we hit record tonight. I heard no Zappy talk. I didn't hear anything during the game. I didn't hear any Zappy talk after the game. I think that we can all now look back and just appreciate what that was. That was a backup quarterback rookie coming, actually not even a backup, a third string rookie quarterback coming in and keeping the team afloat until the starter came back. So Bailey Zappi, thank you. Little applaud for you, but
thank you for your service.
I think, and I hope that we can just put that to bed. Even if Mac Jones does have another bad game this year, which who knows, odds are he probably will, or he'll have some throws that make people go, oh, what the hell? Stop bringing up Bailey Zappi. This is the last that we're going to talk about it. Exactly. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I just think it's funny how quick that just, like I said, if you beat the Jets, that people forget everything. The Patriots beat the Jets. It was a division game. You're now, I think, half a game out of a playoff spot, which I know you're only halfway through the year, but you got to start looking at these things.
Yeah.
So things are kind of on track right now. If the fucking Dolphins would just lose, you'd be in there. But
you made a great point when you texted me where it's like when the Patriots lose, the Dolphins and Bills win. When the Patriots win, the Dolphins and Bills win. You're like, there's no fucking winning here. It's so annoying.
No, it's the worst. Like I was not watching, but I was watching the score of that game, the Dolphins-Lions game. And I was like, holy shit, the Lions are up. I think there was like 6 minutes left or something like that. Dolphins ended up winning. And I was like, what the fuck, guys? Like I thought maybe Aaron Rodgers would beat the Bills. Like maybe he'd pull his head out of his ass. Nope, not even close.
Nope, no luck.
They got embarrassed. And I'm like, geez, like what? It's like, fine, I guess we'll just have to beat these teams on our own. So we'll beat the Jets.
It's so annoying that there aren't other competent teams to beat these teams, because like the Bengals are disappointing, the Raiders are disappointing, the Packers are disappointing. All these teams that should be beating these other teams, and they're just not. You're like, dude, Jesus Christ.
The Raiders are the worst team I've ever seen.
Ever.
You score 0 points against the Saints, who, the
just
Saints
got mollywopped by the Cardinals.
Yeah, like, and the Cardinals suck. Like,
they're not very good.
Like the Saints have a good defense, blah offense, but whatever. And I don't even care if what's his name, Darren Waller was out, and then so was Devontae Adams was sick, or he had a cold or some shit like that. To put up 0 points, the Raiders did not run a play in the Saints territory until I think it was like 3:15 left in the game. Derek Carr did not run a single play. Derek Carr did not run a single play in Saints territory. That was when they had their second team. Right? Yep, that was when they had the second team offensive.
And you see who was in for him?
No. Oh yeah, Stidham, the kid. So that's why I also laugh when you see Patriots fans tweeting early on in this game, oh, do you miss Josh McDaniels yet? No, the fuck I don't. No. Because unlike you guys, I actually like to score. So like 0 points, dude.
And Josh McDaniels took all the Patriots players that weren't necessary for our team's success. Like I love Brandon Bolden, but we don't need him to win. No. Jarrett Stidham, afterthought, not worried about it. Like if Jarrett Stidham started instead of Bailey Zappi for us, we probably would have went, 1-2. Like we wouldn't have done very well.
Definitely wouldn't have. No. It's just funny. And not only that, you have Derek Carr, who, has his ups and downs, but he's a competent quarterback. Definitely can win you games, can put up points, and you have arguably the best wide receiver in the game in Devontae Adams.
He gets one catch for 3 yards.
How on earth does that happen? And
I don't even know.
Then you have Hunter Renfrow,
who's non-existent this year. He's just he might as well be dead. He's just not out on the field.
What is going on? That was
I don't
rough.
understand.
That was rough.
Yeah.
So and then the Bengals lost to the Browns,
Yeah.
who the Patriots just mollywopped. So
Yeah.
I don't see like where, and by the way, the Patriots play the Bengals in like 4 weeks, I think. So
Yeah.
I
Sounds
don't
like a winnable
know
game to me.
that so I think I had that pegged going in that was going to be a loss. I'll have to look back to see what I had, but I thought that was going to be a loss. You had Joe Burrow, and I get that Jamar Chase was out of that game too. But again, if your team hinges on one guy being gone, who isn't the quarterback, one guy being gone, that's not good. And it's not like the Bengals they have Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Like, let's not add Joe Mixon. Let's not act like they're deprived of offensive talent. Like,
they don't look like the defending AFC champs to me.
No, they don't at all. I think they got that vaunted Super Bowl hangover going on there.
Bad. They had a long night with a mean bottle of vodka.
Yeah. And I think the Chargers lose too, or did they end up winning?
I think they ended up winning.
They did end up winning. Let me see. Chargers game. Because I know that they were losing. Yeah. Okay. They ended up winning. Yeah. But
that's still, all right. They're
34-24 to the Texans. Yeah, they're not. I mean, and then they got to play the Falcons, who are in first place because the Bucs suck. So yeah, the NFL is weird this year.
It is so weird.
There's good teams last year that were bad that are good. The Dolphins, all of a sudden, like people saying that they're Super Bowl contenders, which I still don't think they are. I still
Tua is 5-0 when he's not dead, and I'm still not worried about him.
Yeah, I still truly believe that when we play them again, it will be a win for the Patriots.
Yeah,
same thing like when we play the Jets in a couple weeks, that'll be a win. The first Bills game, I mean, yeah, that sounds tough, but then when you say that it's at home in the red jerseys, I mean,
never heard of a more sure thing in my life. I might put my mortgage on it.
Shit, we may have to relook at this schedule coming out of these next games, but yeah, other than that, I mean, with this game, it was a weird game. The first half, I didn't like it at all. I was upset. The second half, I was like, oh, okay, this is just a typical Patriots Jets game where it's close going into halftime. Some shit goes down, whatever. You might be annoyed with the score, and then it's a pretty comfortable game moving forward. And that's what it was. So I got nothing else on this other than, we talked about Judon, Dietrich Wise, those two, amazing. I love this defense. So I'm interested to see them play teams that can actually move the ball because the Jets cannot do that. So any final thoughts?
That same friend who's a Bears fan was telling me that the Patriots defensive line is awful besides Matthew Judon. And I was like, that's fine. Like, you're a casual. And he was like, he loves the NFL, has followed it for years. He's one of the people that like knows all the players and whatnot. So when I call him a casual, he flips out. And I'm like, dude, who's on their defensive line? He couldn't really name any. He's like, it's because they're not relevant. I'm like, no, Lawrence Guy is a phenomenal nose tackle. Dietrich Wise, a hell of an athlete. Like, they have people on there. Uche rushes the passer, and he's good. I'm like,
Barmore. People forget Barmore's been gone the last couple of weeks, but
they're not household names. They're not. Judon's not even a household name unless you live in New England. And it's like, they're doing their job and not causing waves about it, so you don't hear about them.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. Like you said, people look at these at teams and they're like, oh, if they don't have names that they recognize or that they've heard or heard in sports talk, whatever they listen to or watch, it's like, oh no, they can't be that good because like people aren't talking about them. But the Patriots defensive line is very, very good. And they're not even fully healthy right now. So, and then you got their linebackers. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this team right now. Then you got obviously the secondary, no real issues with them. I don't think they're really going to get tested until probably you play the Cardinals. That like once you start getting to that, when you play like the Bills, the
pass heavy teams.
Yeah, because I'm interested to see what they do to slow down Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. That'll be interesting, But yeah, I just have this as a good win. You're back to 4-4. Very, very winnable game next week going into the bye. So I think you should be going into the bye week up and then kind of see what happens at that point. But moving on, though, I do want to say that I still very, very, very much think that this team is going to be in the playoffs. I know that for some reason people aren't thinking about it. But actually, no, fuck that. Yeah, no, obviously team's gonna be in the playoffs. Bill Belichick, sole possessor, 325 wins, second most all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
to say he's not going to make the playoffs, like, come on now, like, you're a hater.
Come on. Did you see, by the way, that since Belichick, crossed the milestone, has second place now, Tom Brady came out of the woodwork and decided to actually speak about his past team, because if you have been following Tom Brady the last couple of years, you probably wouldn't even know that he was on the Patriots.
No, he was drafted by the Bucs. No.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. He does everything he can to scrub them from his memory. I mean, lest we forget when he retired, in quotes, quote unquote, he didn't mention the team or anybody at all. But he's out there saying, I'm sure he cares about it. This is great. 20 years preparation. He's the best.
It was a pleasure to play under him.
Yeah. Oh God, dude, listen, man. It's funny. Your life's falling apart. So what do? You crawl back to the one part of your life that is still that you had the best times with, because it's not your wife anymore. Clearly, it's not the team you're on right now. Clearly, it's not Antonio Brown, who apparently has fucked your wife. So it is not like, that's a lot. But so he crawls back to Bill Belichick, and it's so funny. Like, dude, I can't. Do you know where Tom Brady is going to end up next year? The Las Vegas Raiders with Josh McDaniels. Yeah. So yes, basically hell. Hell.
That would be
basically hell. I would love to see it though. I really would love to see that. But yeah, and also, did you know that Matthew Slater, the second most Patriots games all time?
Really?
Yeah.
When was he drafted? 2009?
2000. Remember 2008, I think, something like that. But yeah, because when the Patriots did their game ball thing that they do in the locker room, Belichick gave it to Slater. He said whatever. He was like, Slate's second most games all time played by a Patriot. Clap it up. Congratulations. Maybe Tom Brady was number one. Would that make sense?
Probably. Yeah, right? I would say
20 years. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. So yeah, Slater, good for him. Easy Hall of Famer. Easy one of the best, most important players of the Patriots dynasty. Everything from keeping locker room morale up to just being a menace on special teams. I mean, I think I saw someone in the Jets game, I don't know who it was, they kind of hit him after the play or something like that, and I was like, no, you do not hit Matthew Slater. I will come down there and beat the shit out of you. You hit anybody else on the team. So I do have to ask, if you're listening, you don't know, but if you're watching, you can see. Liam, why'd you take the shirt off?
Just whenever Matthew Slater comes up in conversation, it gets me all hot and bothered.
Just gets you all hot,
feeling some type of way. I mean,
okay,
he is truly, like you said, the unsung hero. Like, no one really gives a shit about special teams until your special teams is terrible. I always use this team as an arguing point whenever I'm arguing for good and bad teams. The 2011, I believe it was, Chargers were first in offense and first in defense and missed the playoffs. And everyone's like, how can that happen? How is that possible? Well, their special teams gave up 5 special teams touchdowns. Their kicks were blocked all the time. Like, their special teams was just an absolute mess, and they would lose clutch games. They'd lose by 3 and 7 points because of special teams touchdowns. And it's that little focus that this team loaded up on offense, loaded up on defense, and didn't give a shit about special teams and missed the playoffs. But it's Bill Belichick who builds a good offense, great defense, and then a great special teams. And he goes, yeah, this will work. We'll make do with this.
Yeah.
It's the part of football that no one gives a fuck about, but it's arguably the most important.
Yeah, because it is a team game. People, I don't know if maybe people forget that, but it is very much still the NFL is not just, one team. If you have, it's like the NBA where if you have 2 or 3 stars, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You need a full offense, defense, special teams. And that's something the Patriots pride themselves on. And teams like the Chargers that year. I remember that. They were killing it, killing it. Their special teams Achilles heel.
Sucked.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And that's what kills you when you start to play games that actually matter like that. So so yeah, no, I get it. I'd be hot and bothered if if
it happened. It's a natural reaction. Like I was in my flannel and I'm like, my basement's usually freezing. I felt like I was in a sauna. I'm like, I gotta take this shit off. Talk about Matthew Slater, drop a few buttons.
Yeah, I saw as I was talking, I was like, is
he getting naked?
What's going on? I mean, that's fine. Okay, so do you have anything else, any pressing matters you want to get to before we touch on the Colts, give our game breakers, and then get out of here? This is just such a happier pod than last week. I'm man, after a win, and like honestly, this one was kind of boring, but it was against the Jets. It was against Zach Wilson. He saw a ghost. Zach Wilson, by the way, before we get off the Jets game, they asked him, they were like, how do you feel? You threw, the defense made you throw 3 picks, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh no, we get these guys in a couple weeks. I'm like, dude, this isn't. Dude.
Oh, you're like, you stupid fuck.
I mean, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Now.
Yeah.
You're going to lose anyway.
Really excited. Yeah.
Oh my God. Because like at the very least you were playing at home. So like maybe you had like some sort of thing there. Now you have to go to Gillette in front of those fans who are going to boo you mercilessly when you inevitably throw a pick. Yep. It's okay. Yeah, sure. We get them in a couple weeks. I'm glad you're excited about that.
And in every game, it's almost like a guarantee that if we're playing Zach Wilson, we're getting more than 1 interception. We're usually getting, or it's almost a guarantee we're getting more than 2 interceptions. We usually get 3. Last year we had 4. It's like, dude, you cannot take care of the ball against us. We are going to get interceptions off you. And the team that gets more interceptions is going to win 80% of the time. Like, I get it. He's a competitor. He thinks next game he will come out here and throw for a perfect passer rating. Well, you're just blissfully ignorant, and more power to you. But when you come back in 2 weeks and play the Patriots, I will chalk you up for another 2 interceptions easily.
Yeah, he's not gonna. I don't know what and I get it, and like I like the tenacity of that, the chutzpah. But no, dude, you're done. You're done.
I'm also so happy for Devin McCourty getting 2 picks. Like he hadn't had any all year. We were waiting for it. He really ate shit against the Bears, and I was like, this guy, he's still playing at a high level. Like he deserves it. Somebody reward him with an interception. And Zach Wilson, being the gracious charity man that he is, went out there and was like, you're right. Patriots Nation, I agree. Devin McCourty needs these. So he was like, bingo, 1. And then the other one, he's like, I'll leave this up for whoever gets it. Let's see who wants a hustle play. Ball gets tipped up in the air. McCourty's like, I'm feeling it today. Comes down with it. And Zach Wilson feels good. He gave to charity. He knows McCourty needed a pick this year. Gave him 2. Mighty generous of him. And then he gave Juwan Bentley, who doesn't even play passing lanes, a pick. It's just, he's too kind. Zach Wilson is out here giving up interceptions to anyone that wants it. A really gracious guy overall. More power to him. Top-notch guy. Loves to give one of his appendages to the mothers of other people too. Just really seems like a top class kind of guy. And I can respect that. I don't want him quarterbacking my team. I don't want him anywhere near my team. He should be locked in a closet with no football shaped objects of any kind, but damn good dude overall.
Oh yeah. So I'm sorry. He's an organ donor for people's moms. That one.
Yeah, he is. What a guy.
That one got me.
There are women out there whose limp dick husbands have long since tended to their gardens, and in comes Zach Wilson to save the day.
Tended to their gardens. Oh God, that's a good one. Okay. Stupid. This is dumb. All right. So the Patriots will play the Colts next week. So I think first and foremost, I think this is going to be a win. I don't see how this isn't a win. You got 2nd-year QB Sam Ehlinger going up against, a Bill Belichick coach defense. I mean,
the blood's in the water.
I think Judon has at least a sack in this game. I think that they're all over him. I don't even know. I guess I'll pick my game breaker too at this point. I mean, I don't even I don't think I've picked. I don't think I've picked Judon yet. I think I'm going to go with Matt Judon.
Yeah,
I think he's the one.
Bet.
I think he is going to show up. He was so close last week on getting, I mean, last game on getting at least like 2 sacks. But yeah, there's no way. There is nobody on this Colts team that scares you, offensively or defensively. To be honest, there's nobody. They somehow have like a 3-4-1 record right now. I can't. This almost feels similar to the Bears game where I was trying to convince myself on how they could win. But like the Colts don't even have a Justin Fields who could like maybe
make plays.
Yeah, maybe make any plays. There's nothing that they can do. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think the Patriots win. I think this is at home too, so I think it's going to be a good game. I think multiple sacks, multiple turnovers. Mac Jones has an efficient game. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say he has no picks. I know that's big because he's throwing a pick every single game, it seems like. But yeah, this is a win. Notch it down. You're going into the bye week 5-4. I think this might even be a pretty boring game by like the middle of the third. That's just my thoughts.
I'm with you there. I like Sam Ehlinger. I loved him at Texas. He's a hell of a quarterback and a good dude. You're overmatched. Know when to quit. And Sam Ehlinger shouldn't take the field against the Patriots. Against the Washington football team, he could only muster, 3 field goals, 4 field goals, something like that. I think it was 4 field goals.
Yeah.
But couldn't put up touchdowns. You need touchdowns against the Patriots. And I bet he'll get one. I'm sure he'll throw a touchdown or his offense will produce a touchdown. But that's about the most I'll give him. I don't think he has much of a chance. And I think, like you said, it's probably going to be a dick kicking by the third quarter. I have so many hiccups right now. By the third quarter, we'll be able to relax and it won't be a big deal. My game breaker is going to be our number 1 wide receiver who was in a lot of trade talks, and that would be Devontae Parker. I don't know why he was in trade talks. He has been one of the nice bright spots of this offense, and we are going out there against former defensive player of the year for our New England Patriots, Stephon Gilmore, and I am expecting Devontae Parker to turn Stephon Gilmore to burnt toast. It's going to be ugly. I expect Devontae Parker to look for Stephon Gilmore, take advantage of him, and Mac to capitalize on that. Gilmore's still a solid player, but he's far, far from the Stephon Gilmore that we had. It is a long fall from grace, and right now he's still falling. I am expecting a big game from Devontae Parker. I want Mac to go out there and show no fear. Go, hey, former teammate, good buddy, good pal, good friend. Take this burn.
Oh, I forgot about Gil. Oh shit. Okay, but still, the only person, and I was just looking just to make sure, and I remembered this guy too. I just didn't mention him. Jonathan Taylor might be the only guy that scares me on this.
Not team, even anymore though. He's been awful this year.
Yeah, he's been off. And honestly, if the Patriots can hold Nick Chubb to 40 or 56 yards or whatever it was, I mean, and Nick Chubb is running all over everybody. I mean, he ran all over the Bengals.
Colts just traded for another running back too, so they clearly don't believe in Taylor's at least health going forward this season.
Yeah. Which I mean, I'm just looking at their. I mean, Michael Pittman, no, like he doesn't scare you. Alec Pierce, no. Nope. Paris Campbell, no. Naheem Hines, like a cool player.
Naheem Hines is on the Bills now.
Oh yeah, he just got traded. Yeah, so it's like I don't.
So I'm so not worried about it. Like it seems like and Patriots are heavy favorites. They're 5.5-point favorites and like very heavy money line favorites. Like it seems like one of those slam dunk things where the Patriots are going to win this. And crazier things have happened. That's how it was with the Bears.
I mean, yeah.
I believe they're only one of those a season most of the time where you really let the fans down and really go out there and play so poorly. I don't think Bill will let that happen again this season. I don't even think he'll let it happen next season, but I won't get too far into the future there. I think this is a grandiose runaway dick kicking.
Yeah. I think dick kicking is the word for it.
The proper vernacular.
It is. I think it's important to do that because the Colts right now, they are at 3-4-1. They are a couple slots behind you right now. if the season ended today, I figure we'll just end on this because this is kind of the fun time to start looking at that to see where teams are and everything. The Patriots right now are one spot out of the playoffs. Now, the Chargers are on a bye. So if the Patriots win, they by default now are officially in the playoffs moving forward. Obviously, much early, very early, things to change and all that stuff. But it just wait, no, they're not in a bye. Yeah, no, they're not in a bye. I lied to you. But either way, if the Patriots win, they'll hop a few teams. They need to keep winning because the Bengals are on their tail. They're 4-4 too. But I mean, you got like the Jets are in the playoffs right now. That's a fake team. Last. Yeah, no, that won't last. The Dolphins may last. I don't know. I mean, like there's really nobody other than the Bills, the Chiefs, and like in a couple ways the Ravens that I don't see. Like I see those three are definitely making the playoffs.
Yes, definitely.
Everyone else, I mean, not like shit. Because after the Patriots and the Bengals, you got the Colts, the Browns, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Jags. All teams suck. All these teams suck. Every team suck. If the Patriots do not make the playoffs right now, that's kind of in embarrassment. And then
it really does seem like all the stars are aligning for them. Like the Raiders aren't as good, the Bengals aren't as good, the Cardinals aren't as good. Like all these teams that you thought were at the beginning of the season, you're like, oh shit, that could be a tough matchup. Now you're looking at it and going, oh well, they sucked against this team, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Raiders, Patriots play them at some point this year. Moving forward, the Pats have the Colts, the Jets. Then they have, they have the Colts bye week, then the Jets. Then they have the Vikings, winnable game. Then you have the Bills. Then you have the Cardinals, who are not good. They're regressing. They are not that good. The Raiders on my birthday, December 18th, that's a win. I'm already that.
Is that in Vegas?
There's in Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, there is. I mean, I just don't. I mean, shit. The Raiders couldn't even score on the Saints. They might not score any points. Yeah,
the Patriots always play on your birthday. That's hilarious.
Always do. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And then the Bengals come to town Christmas Eve. That game looks extremely winnable. And then you end with
play the Vikings on Thanksgiving.
Yep. Vikings are on Thanksgiving. So you got the Colts, Colts bye week, Jets, and then Vikings. That's the next four. The next 4 weeks.
Vikings look like a surprisingly competent team. So that's the only one that I'm slightly worried about. And even then, Bill can trick Kirk Cousins. I don't care. That's what I keep thinking. Teams. It's so funny. Like the other teams, they just don't do it as well as Bill. And I get it. That's fine. Not everyone could be like Bill Belichick. Kirk Cousins could come in, 8-1, because I think he's 6-1 or whatever it is right now. Yeah. So he could come in 9-1, whatever the record, how it would line up. And I'm not worried about it because he's just not that guy. And Bill will be like, yeah, you thought he was open, but he wasn't.
No, and I know that I understand how good Justin Jefferson is, but it's there's obviously something holding them back because I don't like they're that team that they're always going to be good. They're always going to be in it, but they're not going to get over the hump. And I think that's Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins looks like Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Shout out to Skip Bayless. And this is in. And I think that's not an easy game, but I think that's a win.
I think so. Justin, like you said, Justin Jefferson's the scariest part of that offense. And I have full confidence that Jack Jones will figure out Justin Jefferson's favorite fast food place and he'll break into it the night before and completely get into his head. Justin Jefferson will have no clue what's going on. He'll be upset that all his orders were taken the night before. Distraught. He's like, really? You broke into Popeyes? How fucking dare you? And then boom, he catches 1 for 3 and the Patriots win 24-7.
Yeah. Oh, 24-7 would be awesome on Thanksgiving. Yeah. But then the last 6 games for the Patriots are going to be big. Like I said, Bills, Cardinals, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills. Those are going to be some good games, bookended by the Bills there, but that's down the line. We'll see how the Patriots look on that, how all these other teams look and everything. But I think right now, confidently, we can say that this was 1,000% more of a happier podcast than it was last week. Patriots beat the Jets. Everything was right. Like we said, that you did what you had to do. You took care of business. You made Zach Wilson see ghosts. I'm pumped. I can't wait for that. I can't wait. God, I can't wait for next week. I have no more closing thoughts. Do you have any parting words for the people before we leave?
Bad day to be an Indy fan, baby.
Bad week to be an Indy fan, because I can just see it now. All the days of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are gone. Now you got Mac Jones, skull fucking Sam Ellinger, or whatever the hell.
Gonna be an ugly couple of years.
Actually, get used to who the backup quarterback is, because Judon is going to knock Ellinger's ass out of this. That's what's going to happen.
By the way, the Colts quarterback luck has been going. The backup will probably be out at some point too, and they'll need a third string. It's just they're a dumpster fire.
Exactly. We'll just throw Brian Hoyer over there, concuss Brian Hoyer, and just see what happens.
Yeah, you guys can have him.
So for Liam McDade, I'm Mike Sullivan. This was episode 55 of Tuck Rule Takes, coming off of a Jets win. Big win against the Jets. Going into the Colts next week. Should be another win. Get ready. Going to be a good one. Matt Judon's my game breaker. You have Devontae Parker as your game breaker, who is healthy. That was one little thing. He did leave the Jets game, little knee injury. He's good to go. So do not worry.
That. I looked it up before I said that too. I was like, oh yeah, he did leave with an injury. Like, I was going to say Kendrick Bourne, and I was like, I'm not that much of a gambler.
Kendrick, well, let's see if Kendrick Bourne, has more than a couple catches a game, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, Liam McDade, Mike Sullivan, Tuck Rule Takes, episode 55. We are out. Sweet.